Alright, so the future is here. Unfortunately, my taxes are already done, but they probably don't just send whatever you do here right to the IRS, right? Or whoever gets your tax information. So yeah, no fraud attempted here. Going to be using all fake information here. I've seen some debates, some people think this might be a scam. Looking into it myself, I mean, yeah, there is a slight chance it could be. So just in case, even if I had tax information that wasn't filled out yet, I'm going to be doing a all fake information in that. So here we go. And right away they need your name. Trying to get your information right away. But I already made the decision that I was going to be posing as Mr. Burns here, just because I know one of the questions it asks you is for your social security number, and for that, this is the only fictional one I'm aware of. I didn't want to just make one up because knowing my luck, it would probably be someone's actual number. But yeah, I remember there was a joke in The Simpsons, which might be referenced here numerous times. But I remember that his social security number was pretty much 2, and he was mad at the guy that had 1 for some reason. I already have a little setup here. You're going to try to complete your lease for your new apartment, but I mean, you might find some tax stuff that needs to get done too when you're working on this. I already accidentally went past the text, but it mentioned that we're going to a stationery store. I mean, was that something that ever existed? I guess so. I mean, I would assume you would also sell pencils and pens and feathers if it's going way back or whatever, ink. But I guess you can have different types of stationery and have that be the focus. There she is running right into her, kind of cliche. I just realized the top of her hair can kind of like resemble a heart, like that little piece sticking out. Our first choice, part of our tax return, just sort of casually put in a conversation. It's kind of the way I thought they might go with it. I realized it right before I started playing, but I don't think I noticed that she had like the glasses resting on her head before either. But I did notice it in the little intro or whatever. Thought I'd make note of that since I made note of the hair too. I assume Mr. Burns is a US citizen. Although I'm kind of curious on how it goes off if you select any of the other options. Wait, I can create a safe state and find out. Alright, that was actually kind of funny. I did the other two, and they both result in game overs. And actually, the I'm not sure tries to ask you more questions to verify if you qualify, just sort of based on more unique circumstances, I guess. And then it ends just being like, yeah, not interested in long distance relationships. So it kind of works for both the game and the taxes. It's a little clever. Not sure I've seen anyone get this excited about stationery. That's nice, but now we don't get to see the stationery store. I mean, when do you really just casually write down your social security number? This sort of reminds me, I remember, because I wasn't sure what tax day was, I knew it was in April. I think this game is actually out. I think it originally said it was supposed to be out like next week, so it's out a little early. But I was even thinking that seems kind of close, but I don't know how long it takes or whatever. This is another game over, isn't it? It did warn when you first booted up the game that it won't work for all scenarios. Although I don't know, I feel like jointly is a relatively common scenario. So you would think maybe they can find a way to work around it. I guess we'll see. That's a lot more choices than I was expecting. Yeah, all the other ones were game overs. Although, once again, in a couple of them, they did try to. Once again, I kind of enjoy them sort of tackling the date and the tax stuff together to where the responses you're getting kind of apply to both. Although, I guess, what did I really expect with this? I'm actually a little surprised the way they explained the game. I thought she was an accountant who just sort of wound up helping you, but I guess you're just sort of helping each other here. She's not the expert I was initially thinking. So this is the point where you have to wonder if choosing Mr. Burns could lead to a game over. I don't know how it works. Like, do you stop filling out taxes at a certain age? Alright, so I actually had to break out the calculator. According to the wiki, he was born on September 15th, but there isn't a year, but it's saying he's 104 years old. So that's what we got. Let's see what happens. So it worked, but I guess I was technically a year off because it was 103 because it isn't September yet. But yeah, I don't know what most of these forms are. Actually, this is educational for me as well because my mom actually for years worked in an accounting firm and is still on pretty good terms with them. So then they do my taxes every year. So I've actually never done them myself. I know the W-2 is like the thing you get from where you work. I have no idea what these other ones are though. I might just click them and see. Because she has explained some of the other stuff. I'm a little curious now. Or maybe I should select what, which is more of my actual reaction. Alright, so I actually had to restart and catch us back up because I just selected one of these like random forms. I wasn't sure what they were. And it just sort of continued. So I decided not to do that. I thought she was going to give an explanation. But she only does if you click what. Any other form, that is a game over. One thing I liked too when I went back through it was some of the stuff that I was just sort of experimenting with that I didn't really know. Even when you select them, she sort of verifies like dependents. Oh, and then she verifies if you have children or not, and stuff like that to almost get you to think about situations you might not be thinking of, which is a nice touch. But yeah, these forms, I think she said one is Social Security, one is investments, and one is unemployment. Oh, okay, so I guess she works at the library, so not an accountant like I originally thought. Or I guess she just said library. I guess libraries have accountants. That's like the big twist at the end. Alright, so I accidentally skipped the text again, just sort of going with the flow. And I don't feel like restarting over this, but I could have sworn the line said, I guess the pickup line our character used was "Bury me in books, baby." My guess is crypto's a game over too. It is, but it's kind of funny because she just leaves like before she at least gives you a little like awkward explanation. I guess this one she's like, nope, out of here. Although I don't blame her. I guess I would be right out of there with whatever line this is. I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about crypto either. Oof, some people may not be happy with this comment. Some people are probably still passionate about crypto. Wow, this is one I wasn't really thinking of, but I did find one. Actually, there is no area code though. Oh well, I'll just make something up, I guess. I did do a little awkward, why do you want my number thing, and then she just sort of went back and forth about the tax and the date. Alright, so kind of funny story here. You've probably noticed, but I have my start and stop recording linked to minus and plus because I normally don't use them that much, especially for stuff I figured I would be doing on OBS and that. Well, in this one, we're typing out our phone number, and you need the minus to separate the different parts of the number, so I actually got out of sync and was recording when I was silent and not recording when I was talking. So I'm going through the footage now. What did we miss? We missed me finding out that Mr. Burns has 2 phone numbers according to the wiki. I used the one that has an area code, the other one didn't. We missed the email address. I had to make one up. And I remember debating too whether I was going to put one of my real addresses. Actually, the one I wanted to use wouldn't fit in the box that they have. But I was curious if they were going to send you all of this in an email after. I sort of thought that they might give you a PDF when you complete the game or something. But I wound up just going with the fake one. I'm sure someone else out there going to test it for real, and you can look up those results. After that, I noticed a menu, or we were introduced to a menu, and I noticed an option to go back to the cafe before meeting Iris. And we were introduced to a barista who then described a pink hair girl, which I'm not sure if they're referring to Iris or someone else, because Iris's hair seems more red to me. But yeah, she gave some really crazy, sort of not seeming possible drink that was ordered based on calorie intake and ingredients. But yeah, I'm curious if you can sort of keep doing that and if that'll affect the story in any way, which it might have already done. I don't know if there's like a bad ending though if you procrastinate on your way to seeing Iris, I guess. And after that, I arrived at the library, and you can peek into Iris's journal, and under normal circumstances, I would say no. But since it's a game and I'm sort of curious as to what the effect in the game is, we peeked in and she had my last name as Cafe. At first, I thought it may have been a glitch. Turns out it was intentional, so I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of test thing to reconfirm the information or what. And that catches us up to where I was a little confused because I didn't notice the big X on the corner of the journal and thought we may have been stuck. Oh yeah, I also did a typo. I put my name as Burn instead of Burns to see if anything results from that. Alright, so I didn't know if I had some sort of effect by visiting the cafe first and Iris not showing up at all yesterday, but they had some sort of other explanation, so I don't know, maybe you do read the journal regardless? I'm probably looking way too deep into this. It's probably not that in-depth. But of course I'm gonna check, since the library was the one place not mentioned before, if anything results from that. Found another character. I was actually at first thinking that it looked like this was only a way to edit your information if some of it's incorrect, but it gave me an option to walk around, and here I am meeting a third person. We need a sequel with these other two girls that I've met and some sort of other tedious paperwork or something, I don't know. Yikes, this option. But once again, I'm sort of curious as... Once again, I'm probably looking too deep into it, though, if it really matters. I went with the other option, and I think I got a pretty fun response. What? I was not expecting a fix the copier mini game. I decided to go to the office since that was the one place I haven't been yet. And this is what I get. At least, because part of me was also like, well, if she's missing again like she was the other day, then maybe there is something to that. Hopefully it's easy, you just hit troubleshooting. Oh, yikes. Oh, never mind, I thought that was an actual prompt to try to type something. Figure it out. Oh, never mind, I got ahead of myself there. They are making you do something. Oh, yikes, just by doing the keys, they're just autofilling it, which is good. Yikes, I wonder if this is an actual, like, line of code that's usable in an actual, like, program or something. Yikes, though, your character didn't seem too confident before, but now look at him. Oh, yikes, this could be a problem. I was about to say, I wonder if one of the other forms would have bypassed this, but no, it probably would be the same prompt. I would think you would have to splice some sort of proof no matter what your option was there. Alright, so I uploaded a blank Word document, so I don't foresee them scanning it, so I think we should be good. I don't think it's actually just going to be like, no, this isn't the right document. Unfortunately, they don't let you drag and drop. That would be a nice feature. I had to actually just browse or whatever the directory. Alright, so I can't find an actual yearly income for Burns, which isn't too surprising. I found a net worth, and I divided that by 80. And this time I used the calculator, and I actually clicked instead of using the keypad so I don't fuck up again. This is the number I got, obviously. Assuming he just makes the same amount of money each of the 80 years or whatever he was in the workforce. And yeah, it says he's worth 1.3 billion. As of the latest, it says there were points where it was 16.8 billion, among probably other, obviously show's been around forever, so. It didn't like the commas, but it also required the minus sign or whatever for the date. Oh yikes! I don't know what this even is. Out of curiosity, I'm assuming this is because you probably have to calculate stuff. But if it's like already on the W-2 form, I don't know. You probably have to use other documents. I would think the W-2 form would cover you, though, if it's all from the same. So yeah, I mean, we already said we didn't have these forms, right? At that point, too, I just put 0 for the other questions about income. I don't know, would have been an accurate number. And then there was an explanation on something else. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know, kind of just going over my head for just sort of checking out what the hell's going on here. That's interesting. Is she going to turn out to be like the daughter or ex-partner of an accountant or something? I don't know. And what's with this too? I thought we were doing our taxes together. We haven't gotten her tax information. Oof, being pretty blunt about it. Intuit, other companies, they're coming for you. Oh yikes, the music changed there. I think this guy's our villain. I remember seeing him on the website too, his name sort of being a pun. I didn't realize how evil they made him, but yeah, for some reason they let us go back to the other two buildings. I thought we were still on the same day. That's a lot of taxes owed up there. But yeah, it looks like we'll still experience whatever the cafe stuff was. I'm thinking, is this like the evil tax corporation ex-boyfriend? I think he's trying to bring us to the dark side of going with the big corporate tax helpers, companies, whatever you would call them. Oh yikes, we have two of these characters meeting each other now. I wonder if the barista we met earlier will get involved in any of this stuff too. She already doesn't like me either, so we got potential for some crazy stuff, I guess. Oh yeah, she actually helped me. And once again, also has a stigma against the big tax corporations. I think I see a pattern here. I wonder what happened to cause someone to make this game, I guess. Like, at first I thought it was a joke, and if you look at the company, it kind of matches up. But this almost makes it seem more like, okay, what happened? So some sort of long-standing grudge here. 2021 taxes didn't go so good. At TurboTax, I assume they've just about name dropped them into it. Yeah, because I think that's what the logo is a parody of too, and I think that's who owns TurboTax. Don't quote me, I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah, they just name dropped them this time. Get to interact with the barista again. I actually kind of wasn't expecting that. I wonder how it would have been different if we hadn't interacted before, if at all. But yeah, I thought they would, if Iris was there, we would just skip and deal with that more. Except maybe there would be some sort of confrontation with Turbo or whatever his name was. Oh yikes, with the address. They didn't even do the subtle back and forth with the date and with taxes. That this time she was like, yep, this is strictly for taxes. Alright, a couple things I noticed. One, my internet service provider is probably curious as to why I'm just looking up random and weird things about Mr. Burns. Like how, oh, now I'm looking up the address before I was looking up the yearly income or whatever. So that's a little strange. Also, I noticed an issue here, being they are asking for a state, and Simpsons is infamous for not divulging that. So I don't know. Should I just, what if I just put XX like nothing? Will that actually work? Or will it error that's not a state? I don't think so. It hasn't really done stuff like that yet. When putting in stuff that seems not possible. But yeah, this is according to the wiki. You don't need line 2. And I'll just have to make up. Should I bother looking up? Why the hell not? Burns Manor. What was it called again? Zip code. Took a little extra second. Doubt that's been looked up much. Yeah, it's nothing coming up. I assume you have to put in a number, right? Oh wait, we're getting a red here. So is it not gonna work? We'll just, I don't know, we'll just do ones. We'll try. No, it's detecting. Not a real. What's it on the border of? Like isn't Springfield like? Wasn't there like an episode where it was like kind of on the border of like 5 different states? I think. Let me check. Might just have to pick one. Oregon? Really? Huh. I thought that was still a secret. This, at least some random articles claiming Oregon. There's a couple articles. Just on a very quick basic Google search results. What's Oregon's abbreviation? I'm going to assume OR. We'll go with that, and not that it matters, but hope it's right. Yes, she was the pink-haired girl, by the way, too, and that's the drink that was mentioned before. Oh, yeah, because I think I misunderstood the one thing before. Or did I misunderstand it? Because I feel like we answered this before, too. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was getting mixed up here. I think this will be a game over, too, right? Because I think do you still have to fill out taxes if you're someone else's dependent? Or actually, yeah, I think you still do if you're over 18, right? I got it mixed up for some reason. I thought we answered this earlier, or that I mixed up and this was what was answered earlier in the general. Do you have dependents? Was what was earlier. I also half wanted to put the hounds as dependents just for the fun of it, to see how that process works. But obviously, it just gave me the game over when I attempted to do any dependents. Well, this is an kind of unexpected question. I didn't think something like this would play into taxes. Oof, here's the infamous question. I almost like to. She did almost pose it more on the date side of things rather than the tax side of things. I wonder if we do what, she'll go more on the tax side with it. I was also surprised. I did say I was legally blind. I didn't know if that would have been too much. Well, actually, that probably would have turned out horrible. Because I'm thinking, because things may have gotten more complicated, and obviously they didn't really go that direction with some of the other stuff. But then they also post some of the stuff as like a breakup, so then that would have looked really bad. Alright, so we once again had a requirement of the minus space, but luckily I paid attention and aren't out of sync this time. But yeah, this was the gag that I remembered from The Simpsons that inspired this playthrough. Oh, it's saying no. Detects that it's not a real one. That is a twist. Alright, so today I learned the first and second part of a social security number cannot start in 0. So I just threw ones in front, had another jab. I mean, we had to get a secret back at least for giving our social security number. So yeah, we had to get a secret back. I mean, we did give our social security number after all. She gave another jab at TurboTax and then kind of made it seem like she never went flying because she doesn't have a passport. I mean, if you're in the US, you can fly around between other states, I think, right? But I don't know, maybe that's sequel hinting. Passport application heaven 3000. Although this would still be with Iris, I guess, not getting the other people involved. I don't even know how do you apply for a passport. Is it going to just be some big, I don't know, is AAA a company that does that? Like just a big, don't use AAA instead of TurboTax? Oof, we're in good shape. We got the hard eyes now. I'm a little surprised it took us that long to get something in return, I guess. I thought we would be getting more, I don't know, details about Iris's character and that when giving the other information. Now that I think about it, I think that's the first time that they really went that way with it. Yet another character. Well, was not expecting that. I thought, we were obviously going to get Turbo. I thought maybe we get 1 or 2 side characters, but yeah, this is 3, I think, now. Oh, once again, of course, the evil TurboTax is the talk of the town. I guess they screwed him over. Yikes, he wound up going off on a whole rant about TurboTax. Even more reasons than that, I guess. And yeah, we just ordered a coffee and stole a pencil from the office. Pretty basic and quick, but Something, I guess. Oof. Not that I'm really surprised given the absurd amount or whatever that we had. But I like how the whole tone went dark there. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know how this works, but I guess you do normally know, from what I remember from my experiences, you do sort of know right away whether you get something or not. I'm just kind of surprised we're already learning a little bit. Oof, don't tell me you're gold digging here. I mean, that's something, I guess. I don't know how to feel about that. Once again, not sure why this is coming up, although aren't teachers, is that like considered like a governmental job? Is that where we're going with this, maybe? I kind of want to put yes, but I don't know if we're past the point of game overs or not. And I would rather, I don't know, not dive into that. So try to keep it as close as possible to both Burns and even my own situation, I suppose, in a way. I don't know really what an IRA is either. The way she described it, it sounded more like charity work, and I think I have heard that can sort of be taken off your taxes, so maybe that's correct and I'm reading it right. Either way, we know Mr. Burns isn't one to be charitable. I didn't even know it was possible to make estimated payments. I guess maybe if you have an accountant or something, maybe. For the record, while I'm on the topic, I mentioned my mom worked at an accounting firm. It was not one of the evil ones that's getting, it was like a small, like, local company. It's not one of the evil ones that's being thrown under the bus, I guess you can say, in here. This was another thing I didn't even know was possible, too, that you can use your refund for next year's taxes. Still learning, you know? Even if I'm not using this game or whatever to actually file my taxes, I'm still getting something in return, some information on the side of tax stuff. She said this stuff's familiar to her, so another sort of hint at that past of being an accountant, tax expert. Oh yeah, because I didn't even realize, like, she has the hearts all over. I wonder if in between, because I just noticed with dates 3 and 4, I wonder with 1 and 2 if there was some edits as well to the little chibi thing. One more round. It looks like this is it. Uh-oh, they're on to her. The way they make it seem, though, I don't even know what to say. We've got a rogue tax agent. Another crossover. Yeah, we didn't see him interact with the other guy, though. Like I said, I think it's about to end. Although, who knows, maybe there's a bonus one and we see those two interact, too. Wait, are they hinting she's going to be like a robot or something here at the end? That was actually kind of sweet. And almost logical in a way. Like, you're sort of wondering why it was all happening, and then she's just like, yeah, I don't know how to do a lot of things that great. And I thought this would impress you. Sorry if if it was weird. Like a surprisingly, I don't know, made things seem a little more believable at the end, I guess, than I was expecting. Slightly. Alright, so yeah, they did give us a PDF here at the end with some innuendo. I think that's the right word. They did even give you, like, they actually gave the place in Oregon or whatever where you have to mail it, though, too. So that's all there, too. That's cool. Oh, there it is. There's the twist that we kind of figured out there right at the end. Although I don't know if they really hinted at it going that far, I guess, until that late. Alright, so it looks like that's it. No little bonus at the end. I thought I saw a screenshot where there were 5 dates. I don't know where I saw that. Maybe there's some secret ending I'm missing, but maybe there's some cutting room floor stuff to dig into at some point with this game. But yeah, it pretty much just ended with a confession. And I don't know, that's sort of what I expected. Overall, I will give credit where credit is due. I think sort of the general concept they went with is actually pretty good in terms of trying to create software to make doing something as much of a pain in the ass or mundane as filling out your taxes more interesting and fun. Like, I think it would be interesting to see someone else take a crack at this, or for these people to even take a crack at, I don't know, a sequel or some sort of other similar thing. I think there's room to grow. I mean, with this, as I kind of mentioned in the middle of the game, especially if they're going with the dating simulator aspect, I think it would have been better if they sort of rewarded the player more with, I don't know, just other stories and details, I guess, about Iris. I mean, I think the sort of going back and forth between the date and the filling out tax information, which is most of the game, is fine, but does it really hold up? I'm not necessarily sure about that. Leaning towards no. And maybe it would have a little more staying power or just general interest if they were to have made the characters or the world a little more interesting or compelling. But once again, the concept in general was great. And they're really the first to do anything like this. And I guess they did leave, I don't know, like looking in this company, I don't know if they really go back to stuff like this, but they did sort of leave the door open for stuff, I guess. But yeah, they did get a PDF at the end. I did open it. The thing I find kind of funny is that there's just like a little note from Iris, I think the first 2 pages, about just extra information and instructions on what to do. But it's sort of done in the style of the diary. Like, I'm just imagining someone just printing out, maybe not paying attention or not caring, and sending that off, like what the IRS or whatever thinks when they see potentially a couple groups of tax information showing up like that. But yeah, there was less documents than I thought. It was only a couple pages, but that might be due to the way it was filled out here and not necessarily being realistic. But yeah, a couple kind of funny things is, one, on the website, they are legitimately, or they were at one point. Actually, I don't even know if it was legitimate because it sold out right away. Maybe that was all a joke too. But they did have a listing for a body pillow and like a software box. So like, I don't know if it came with a CD or a USB drive, but it kind of reminded me of like the really old boxes you would get with tax software and maybe some games too. I think, I don't know, it's been so long since I've seen boxes like that, but clearly a lot of inspiration there. I was originally thinking about streaming this, but then I wasn't sure. Honestly, there's a joke on the website about an X-rated patch, and then you just click on it, and it leads to a like a little side story, fanfic, whatever. But part of the reason I didn't stream because I kind of remembered that, you know, sometimes the dating sims can potentially get spicy, and I didn't want to like get banned or something if it did go that direction. Which, once again, similar to this being a scam or whatever, I thought it was unlikely, but it was not something I was 100% willing to put past them. So played it on the safe side, but also part of me also just didn't feel like figuring out how to link Twitch and OBS and all of that. I kind of just felt like playing the game, and I don't know how many people are going to wind up watching this anyway. Like, what would be the difference between me here, sitting here doing it like this, as opposed to probably most people finding it later anyway, if anyone finds it at all when it's live. It'll just be sort of archive on YouTube or whatever anyway. So this is what I was talking about. I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I had a plan, and this was the plan of just something sort of interesting and unique. But yeah, I guess it was interesting, nothing too crazy. I was actually wondering if they were even going to release it today, because I checked a couple times, because I remember seeing it was supposed, because I was just sort of checking, because it was on Steam, got delisted out of concerns of it being a scam. Then it was on itch.io, but then I couldn't find it. So then I was checking back to see if they're going to put it on another website or if it just got canned, and then I saw it was coming out today, and then I found the itch.io page again. But then, like I said, the download, just because it's been on my mind trying to find it, and again, in that, I think I checked in the morning and the afternoon once each, and I checked right before I left work, and it was finally live. Like I said, I didn't know what time or it was just going to pass and it was just all a joke. There wasn't anything that existed. No, it exists. Honestly, a little bit of a shame. Well, I guess with the spicy stuff, I don't think Steam necessarily allows that, so maybe that should have eased my potential caution, I guess, there. But I did see people were streaming it too, so I figured at that point it was probably definitely fine. But yeah, I mean, I get the concern, but I don't even know how you would like even say this is 100% legitimate and trying to help people in that. I mean, how do you sort of? I mean, I don't know. But then if you grant one exception, then where do you draw that line? Like I was thinking, I don't even know if this is possible if you can find everything, but if they went through the code and made sure that nothing was going back to this company out of the information you're putting in. But like I said, then where do you draw the line there? It is a tough situation, I will say.